Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com, and today we have Limor Bergman Gross with us. Limor, thank you so much for joining and welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Atul. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so for our listeners who don't know you, can you tell them who you are and what do you do?
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. My name is Limor Bergman Gross. And what I do nowadays is I'm an executive leadership coach. I work mainly with women in tech, helping them with challenges they face in a male dominant field, with confidence, with being visible, with advancing their careers. And I'm also an international speaker. So, I speak at different conferences, mostly tech conferences. The topics are about leadership, and happy to be here.
That's great. Okay, so how do you get started in this?
In what? In what I do today?
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened was that I didn't plan it. First of all, so my career was in tech. I was in engineering, software development. I was leading software development teams. And along the way, I really grew passion for women, for supporting other women, because, I've been working mainly with men, and there are like a lot of challenges along the way. I started mentoring engineering leaders at I think it was in 2017, just doing that like not paid or anything. And I found that I really liked it. I really enjoyed that. That alongside with my growing passion for, as I was leading teams, I wanted to hire more women. I wanted to advance women in my organization. So I was heavily involved in, like, we had a women ERG in the company. It's employee resource group. So that eventually, multi-year kind of process led me to realizing that actually that's my passion and that's where I want to put my focus. So I left corporate. I think it was more than 6 years ago, and started coaching. So I was already mentoring, as I said. So I went into coaching training and started coaching women.
Okay, so you help women in tech. Okay, so can you share what are the common problems that they face that you help them with?
Yeah. Yeah. So there are several challenges. I mean, not everyone are the same, but common challenges are they're feeling maybe stuck in their career. They're feeling like, okay, they exhausted what they could at the current level and they don't know how to go up, how to move up. And they struggle with building like strategic relationship with different stakeholders, and they're waiting for someone to give them permission. Meaning, okay, someone to tell them you are ready to take more responsibility. You are ready to advance. And instead, we kind of shift the thinking. Instead of waiting to be ready or waiting for someone to tell you you are ready, to how do you actually start being proactive and identify opportunities that can help you progress, that can help you build visibility, that can help you build the relationships with the relevant stakeholders, that can help you be seen as a leader at a different level, at the next level.
So, do you give them some kind of exercise or help them acquire some kind of habit so that they don't wait for someone's permission to take action?
Yeah, so we do, obviously, I give them some challenges that they can work on. It all depends on the specific woman and the environment she's at. Like if, for example, so I have a client who is actually in an individual contributor role. She's not leading, she's not managing, and she's thinking about going into leadership. So we talked about, okay, in her kind of a company, what are the people that actually share similar passions to what she thinks about, that she can start building relationship with. She can start sharing some ideas she has and potentially find opportunities to implement those ideas. So she had different ideas about different things related to the company, right? And what they can do differently, what they can do better. Those are outside her current role. And we identified like stakeholders that actually care about that she can start working with. So that, for example, could be something that I will challenge her to start working on. And as she start engaging with those stakeholders, then we can work on, okay, how do we actually start planning and working on that and executing it?
Okay, can you share any of your favorite case study?
Like favorite case study.
Yep.
So, I mean, I have multiple, like one that comes to mind is a woman that reached out to me. She was in senior role and came as an acquired company. So it was an acquisition, which happens a lot, right? I mean, you work at this company and then you're get acquired. So she had challenges with the shift from the company she worked on to the new company, with building relationship with her manager that was not someone she knew, and the manager was not even working at the same country. And she wanted to be positioned to a director role. And that's what we worked on for about 6 months. Building those strategic relationships with someone that is, coming from the acquired company, that is different culture, different country, and she wanted to be perceived as a director. And that's what we worked on. And eventually, that led to her being promoted, but the promotion was not the most important part, in my opinion, at least. This is the outcome, right? The outcome everyone wants, okay, to be promoted. But the important piece was about really building that strategic relationship, building the trust, and being seen as a trusted advisor.
Okay, so when we do strategic relationship with someone, we always have our end goal, keep that in mind. Okay, can you say like few common mistakes when female makes when they want to do strategic relationship?
So common mistakes are, first of all, even thinking about it, right? I mean, even thinking strategically who I want to build relationship with. And then once you identified, first you have to identify the right people. And a lot of times they are not like the immediate people you may think about, right? Usually you think your manager, but your manager is just one person. It could be other people, like the important decision makers. So I usually ask, who makes the decision, right? It's not just necessarily for promotion. It's promotion, or maybe you want to push for a strategic project or something you want to do. Who makes the decision? It could be more than one. And then once we identify them, the common mistake is to think, what do I want? What is important to me? Which is great. But when you want to build the strategic relationship with someone, you actually have to think about them. What do they care about?
Yeah.
And how to approach each one of them with what they care about. So it's kind of communicating what you're working on, what you want to, promote or whatever, but in a lens that is relevant for that specific person, wants, needs, passions. So one person could think about cost saving. One person could think about increasing revenue. One person could think about efficiencies, right? About how can we operate with less people or do more. So when you kind of communicate to each person with what they care about, that's how you start building the trust.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to know that person, okay, and get to know a lot about them in a personal.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to start knowing. And a lot of times, Atul, you mentioned something very important, right? A lot of times we don't know. And then we have several options. We can ask, right? We can have a conversation about people, like just to ask them, hey, what keeps you up at night? What is important to you? What are the top priorities for you? So we can ask. Also, we can find who are the people who know that person and get some information about them.
And if they know but they never contacted with them, then they can ask for introduction too.
Yeah, you can ask for introduction, depending how the company is, how structured it is, how hierarchical it is. Because in some companies, you can just reach out and say, hey, I wanted to know more about you and see how I can help. Some companies, it will be better to do it with introduction, depending on the company culture and how it's structured.
Okay, so you read a lot of books. So which book has the most impacted on you when it comes to leadership?
Yeah, there's one book that I always refer to. It's called The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. It's not the most known book, by the way, of Robin Sharma, right? Everyone thinks about The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, which is also a great book. But The Leader Who Had No Title, the thing that kind of caught me in that book is Robin Sharma talks about how everyone is a leader and everyone can exercise leadership. Doesn't matter what the role that you're doing, what's the title, what's the authority you have. You can exercise leadership at every level. And I really resonated with it. And that's kind of the thing that I want to encourage my clients and your listeners if it applies to them. You
By
don't
the way,
have to rely
yeah,
on a
go ahead.
title.
Okay. Okay, so what personality trait would you attribute majority of your success to?
So I'm a very quiet person. I'm very introverted. And, I always thought it's a limitation, to be honest with you, Atul. I always thought, oh, it's actually limiting me because in order to be seen, you have to be loud and extroverted and all that. But one of the good qualities that I have is I'm a great listener. And that's not a quality everyone has. So I listen, I'm curious, and I'm coming a lot of times. I mean, we all have judgment, but I'm trying to approach with less judgment and be really curious. And I think that's the trait that helped me the most. Get along with a lot of people, right? A lot of time, not easy people to handle, and resolve different challenges and conflicts by just being curious, by listening, by asking questions, and coming without judgment.
Okay, so for our listeners who want to get some help from you, want to connect with you, where can they go?
Yeah, they can go to LinkedIn. The handle is Limor Bergman. And they can also listen to my podcast, From a Woman to a Leader. And that's how they can learn more about me and figure out if they want to work with me. It's
Talk
very
about your
personal.
podcast.
I started a podcast 3 years ago called From a Woman to a Leader. And it's for women in tech that are struggling with the challenges I shared with, right? I mean, they feel like they're doing great work, but they're not recognized for it. Maybe they feel stuck. And I interview a lot of women. And, each woman comes with a story and with insights. And I also recently started also sharing personal stories. So I record every week a personal episode, a solo episode that is a personal take on the episode that I had a guest that week. Yeah. So definitely, I encourage everyone to listen because I feel in business in general, not just in coaching, we do business with people and the
Yeah.
personal connection is very, very important. And I want to make sure that people that work with me feel that I'm the right person to help them and they feel comfortable. And I think one way to figure that out is even before you met me.
Yeah.
It's because like you have a podcast, so people can look, can watch or listen to your podcast and get to know you before they met you in a way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so with all the success you have, what's your current challenge now?
My current challenge.
Yeah.
So, Atul, I haven't planned for it, but I'm building a speaker business as well. So I started in coaching. Yeah. So paid speaking. And, I never thought I'll do that because as I said, I'm very introverted. I'm a shy person, but I challenged myself to start speaking at conferences. And I also, did some paid speaking. And that's another part of the business I'm building right now. So the challenge is to be seen, right? As an international speaker, to be connected to the right people and to get paid for speaking, not just speak for. So obviously I speak at conferences and that's great for visibility. Most of them though don't pay you, right? I mean, so my challenge right now is to get paid speaking.
Okay, that's great. All the best with that.
Thank you.
Okay, Limor, thank you so much for joining, and it was really fun having you here.
Thank you so much, Atul. It's been a pleasure.